So let's talk about fear, all right? And right away, I want to tell you that most people say that, fear is not real, fear is not, it is just an illusion. In spiritual terms, it is true, fear is an illusion. But we are not so spiritually awakened that we can say fear is illusion and deny this physical reality. In the physical reality, in the physical realm, fear is real. In the spiritual land, fear is unreal. But you can't bypass it. You can't just fake yourself that, hey, fear is illusion, I don't feel it, and you're feeling fear. Okay? Fear is real in the physical realm. You feel it. Your mind gets triggered by it. Your body feels that arousal, that agitation. And at the moment of fear, it feels like, you know what, this is it. I am stuck. I am in survival. And fear is nothing but your mind's unfamiliarity with something that you have not practiced it yet. That's all fear is. If you're going to practice something new, immediately, 100%, you will have that resistance, that blockage, that, your mind is trying to warn you, stop you from not doing it. It doesn't mean that you're actually becoming fearful because of that. It just means that, your mind is not familiar with that new thing, that new pattern, new person. And that's why it is giving you fear, because it's trying to protect you. That's the main function of the mind. It's not designed by the divine to make you happy. It's designed by the divine to protect you. All right. And let me share something that no coach or psychology talks about, just to add something to it. So in terms of spirituality, fear comes from ignorance. Agyana, Ashmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. First is ignorance, that you think I'm this body. And due to ignorance, you're attached to this body, because all of your fears are around just bodily needs. And because you're attached to this body, you're always sort of resisting the opposite of anything that harms or gives discomfort to your body, which is called aversion. And in the realm of attachment and aversion, you're constantly having fear. And that is what's going on in terms of spirituality. It is all ignorance. But again, if we can think about higher principles and we don't take care of the ground reality, we will not have the real result. So my recommendation is understand it in the physical realm, see it, feel it, and until naturally through your spiritual practice, you're able to transcend this physical realm, then you can talk about fear is not real. But until it feels real, you got to deal with it. And there are some disempowering beliefs around fear that, do it anyway. It is not real, avoid it, push past it. And that is not a very healthy advice, because anything you will try to avoid or push, you are only creating disharmony within yourself. And fear is something, if you realize it's an energy that you're capable of experiencing, feeling, witnessing, and then allowing to let go, and then take a decision that is empowered by intuition, by intelligence, and not the one by your mind. Because fear, every time you will feel fearful, that is literally self-sabotage. That is not useful, except in few cases where if you have to jump from the cliff, then your mind is like, don't do it, right? That's a healthy advice. But if you need to, buy something that is productive and maybe a little expensive, and your mind is like, no, this is not needed. Or you have to invest in something and your mind is saying like, no, I'm not needed. That is where your mind is self-sabotaging you. And that is something you're capable of experiencing, feeling, and maturity is still taking a decision that is in alignment with your values, with your vision, with your goals, and doing it anyways. So here are the 4 ways you got to deal with fear. And it's a practice, because practice and detachment is how you will rise above fear. Practice by doing the hard things, by doing it anyway, by understanding that fear can be there and you can still do the things that are productive, proactive, and detachment from the results. Because oftentimes when we are attached to the results, that's when we get so stacked up. And when we are detached from the results, detached from the outcomes, we can avoid fear consciously and not let it consume us. Because we're so focused on doing just our duty or responsibility, what is in my control, and by not taking care of the outcome, by not being attached to the outcome, I will not be affected by the result of the outcome, by the fear of failure. So number one is emotional. All right. You feel fear, that's a very high sort of negative energy. It's very loud, it's very strong. And that moment, you're not in harmony with yourself. You lost your harmony, you lost the Tao. And most people either suppress it or being so affected by fear, they take opposite actions. What you can do is you can feel fear, stay with it instead of avoiding, suppressing, or escaping. Stay with it and allow yourself to maintain calmness around it by using breath work, by moving your body, by relaxing and recovering. And there are many ways which I teach my peak performers, but you can stay with it. And your first and foremost job is to find harmony by being calm, by using your consciousness, using your intention to establish calmness around your fear, around the object, around the thing, around the person you're feeling afraid about. This is the first and foremost and the most easiest way to overcome fear. Staying with it, feeling it, experiencing it, and then still doing your best to be calm around it, which will actually overcome the fear. Second is mental. When you are actually able to feel calm, naturally your negative thoughts, your self-doubt, your critic will go away. Because whether you know it or not, and it's an incredible, powerful point, your thoughts are motivated by your emotions. Imagine you have one or two negative emotions and you think all of the negative thoughts. And you have one or two positive emotions and you think all of the positive thoughts. Your thoughts are inspired by your emotions. Your state of mind is inspired by your emotions. So once you're able to feel calm, you want to give the thing you're feeling fearful about a very positive, empowering reframing. This is very crucial because this is how you'll be able to turn the game around from thinking procrastination, negativity, fearful thoughts to empowering thoughts, productive reframing. And since we become what we think about, the moment you're thinking about something productive around something that is causing you fear and resistance, immediately your reality will start shifting because we become what we think about. What you focus on expands. You don't experience life, you experience the life you focus on. And that is the secret. Positive, empowering, highly vibrational reframing. And you got to ask yourself, what would be my future version do in this moment? And you got to ask yourself, what would my future self do in this moment? What would he or she do? How he or she would act in this moment? Because your current self being inspired by your past self will only self-sabotage. But your future self, who will be empowering, productive, proactive, successful, will give you that guidance to take action in the present that will be actually the actions you should take. And this is one way you start to overcome your past self by living from your future self in the present. So basically, you're able to make yourself feel calm at the emotional level. And due to that, you're able to have positive reframing at the mental level. And now you're having law of attraction working in your favor. The third thing, which is helpful to do, if you're not able to practice one and second, is physical. When you feel that fear, don't just get stuck into your laptop, into your conversation with your partner, or into your mobile. Move, breathe, relax your body. If you could, running, walking, these are incredible for positive reframing, for changing your emotions. Sauna, cold water, showering, it is mind-blowing to do that. And if you don't have anything to do, you can just move your body and just relax. You can do some sort of stretching. What it will do, it will change your state because your mind and body are intimately connected. So when you change your body, when you move your body, your mind changes. When your mind changes, Now you have a different outlook towards life, and you will not be reacting out of fear. Instead, you will have that space where you can actually respond. And this is what peak performers do. Immediately when because peak performers take all these big decisions, every day they have to sort of fight with their imposter syndrome. And all of us have imposter syndromes, but they don't let the imposter syndrome define them. They always live from the future self, take care of all the techniques and tools they have in their dictionary to change their state. And when you change your state, your story changes. And when your story changes, you take an action different from the one that's inspired by fear. And the fourth thing is, when it comes to overcoming any kind of fear, which is something most coaches don't talk about, is you've got to find your rest in divinity. Ultimately, the wave of the ocean can be so powerful, can be so great, but it ultimately finds its rest in the ocean itself. You are that particle of the divine who can only find its rest in divinity. I don't believe in any of these coaches and peak performers who can give you all these tools and techniques and tell you you'll find your rest and you'll be overcome any kind of failure. That will not happen. And I can guarantee it, because our true essence is spirit. And that spirit, which is a part and parcel of that supreme spirit, can only find its rest in the supreme spirit. The mind is looking for pure bliss. The mind is looking for pure safety. And because the world is ever changing, is temporary, it can never find that. Now you can become mentally strong, you can become emotionally strong, and you will be able to deal with it, which is first and foremost, if you don't have that belief, if you don't want to do it. But once you really want to find that deep rest and just deep fulfillment, that can only happen when you surrender to divinity, when you understand your relationship with divine, with God, with the universe, and knowing that there is oneness between you, this creation, and the creator. And once you find and establish and realize that oneness between you, the creation, and the creator, now there is no fear, because you know who you are is what it is, and it's what that is made by the ultimate creator. This is where people become magnetic, soulful, fulfilled. They have this beautiful aura, because all those worries and anxieties have completely gone away. And for that, you will always need a teacher. It will not happen on your own. We always need teachers who are into higher consciousness to take us from the lower consciousness to the higher consciousness. That's just how the life is designed. Okay? The divine comes in the form of a teacher to guide us in many, many, many ways. So be open to that, pray for that, and let that take you into the direction you want to go. And if you want to take this further, you can join my webinar where I'll show you how to do this at a level which you can adapt, and a step-by-step process how to take this to the next level. So you can register for the webinar in the link in the bio. And thank you so much for watching. Now, I want to leave your comments in the comment box. Never, ever, ever leave anything without taking action right away. Otherwise, you're building a habit of procrastination. But when you take action right away, you are now building the habit of proactivity, productivity, and that's what we want to do. So what is your biggest takeaway from this video? Please type in the comment box. I'll be reading it, hopefully replying to it, and I'll see you in the next video.